Hi, welcome to Mindset Adventure. I am here with Lee Jacobs, who helps entrepreneurs stay in shape, lose weight, and 10x their energy. Is that right, Lee?
Yep, that sounds good to me. I like that.
Okay.
10x their energy.
Yep. Welcome to the show, and I'm so happy that you are here. And I want you to share with us what made you decide to help entrepreneurs stay in shape.
I think that the biggest factor was for myself that when you get so focused in your own business and everything else that's going on in your life, you tend to forget you, and taking care of yourself is paramount to being able then to help other people with whatever business it is that you're actually in. So focusing on your own health, well-being, mindset, or even from the martial arts side that I do as well is it's very much mind, body, spirit. And if you haven't got the focus on helping yourself first, then you can't help more people or put as much of yourself into helping more people as what you are truly capable of. So for me, it was right. Okay, I need to get myself sorted so that I can help others. And during that journey, I found a lot of people, especially in the mindset or the psychology coaching, psychiatrists and stuff. They when I was looking more into that for improving my mindset, most of them seemed just as messed up or struggling as what I was, but they were good at telling people, but not working any of it on themselves. And I didn't want to be that person, so got myself sorted so that I could push out to help more people do the same, really, so that they can, like you said, 10x their energy, that they are able to, so they have it untapped, really, that they can help more people with whatever business that they're in. So having that really healthy mind, really healthy body, and that balance between the three with the spirituality side as well, then it can really help drive them within their, because they're going to be passionate anyway, but towards their mission that they're looking to achieve in their business.
Sounds
And that was
good.
kind of the big.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for locally. I've been mostly doing this for about 10 years now, just over 10 years. And now I'm kind of venturing out to helping more people kind of throughout, because we got closed down at the beginning of the whole pandemic that happened. And it was like, okay, so how can I carry on helping these people? How can I now start to help more people? So.
Okay. And before this interview, we talked that we're going to share something related to how to get an empowering mindset so that we reach our health goals. And why do you think that mindset is such an important thing? I keep hearing everyone, including myself, I use mindset as the first thing that I help people with, because for me, it's like a foundation. If you don't have it right, you can't do anything else. Why do you
No,
think it's so important?
you're right in what you say there as well. It is a foundation, because if your mindset is that that you're not worthy, or you're not capable, or you don't deserve this, or you're not enough, then it's only a matter of time that the willpower of your new venture, or the enthusiasm or the motivation of your new venture, whether it is to improve your health, to lose some weight, to get fitter and going to the gym, or stronger, or whatever it is that you're looking to do physically or in your work, then it's only a matter of time before self-sabotage kicks in, because the energy that you're moving out towards what you're wanting to do doesn't collaborate with your belief system. And if those two aren't married up, then your belief system is a lot stronger. Your how you feel and think and are within yourself is going to be different to what you're trying to push out. So there's only so much the fake it till you make it situation can work, it only gets you so far, because then, like I said, there's a lot of areas that then will kick in with self-sabotage. So whether it's the relationship that you're sabotaging with the people that you're working with, or the relationship that you have towards food as well, you start to make wrong choices, or not so empowering choices that are going to help you to get where you want to get to.
You got me thinking of something. Mindset is something that can be molded, let's say, but it depends on what your goal is at the end. But if someone is okay with what they have, but they only want to change a few things, would you still go for the mindset to still change that?
Because even with those small things, because the small things over time build up to a big thing, and if you're looking at the majority of my life is actually I'm really happy with and I'm content with, or I tolerate, that again is a mindset in itself, knowing which one it actually is, then you just want to make a few small changes. Again, that comes down to how you envisage yourself and what you believe about yourself. That would need to change to a degree. It doesn't need to be like you from one extreme to another extreme, but just a small change that can continue to help you get that extra little thing, to make it permanent, so that it becomes sustainable and your focus is on the progress, and it becomes more of a journey than a destination. And then when you have that, your first thing is that you need to be aware of it, like we've said. And if you're not aware of that you need the help or you need to change anything, then the cycle will just continue of going around. You start a bit and then you sabotage, and then you start again and then you sabotage. So yeah, I think it is just as important, no matter what it is, whether you've got a big goal or a small goal, or one aspect of your life that needs to change, or you want it to change rather than it needs to change. It might be that it needs to change, but when you make that one small change within yourself, because no matter what the goal is, there needs to be some small steps, actionable steps, to get you towards that. So the mindset side is absolutely crucial, I think. And as I said to you earlier, with the martial arts side that I do too, this is mind, body, spirit, and the first part of that is mind. So it is absolutely crucial, because everything, it kind of comes from here and from here. And when these two are in line with each other, and you have no blockages or boundaries or anything that can stop how you think and feel about yourself and what's going on, then it can all work then in your favor.
Yep, interesting. But how would you start with someone working on their mindset? What would you do? Let's pick an example. Let's say someone comes to you and they say they want to have more energy, or you just pick one example from your experience.
Yeah.
And
it could be energy, it could be health, that they have a health challenge, or they're looking to just lose some body fat, or they're looking to gain some X amount of more muscle, or they're looking to work on their mind muscle to improve their business. So the first thing that we look at is always where are we at now? Like what's the current situation? What are you actually doing? And what I do in my program is we spend the first week looking at where we're at, so that we know everything about where we're at and what we're doing, so that we can then look at, okay, so where do we want to get to? And then when we know where we're at and we know where we want to get to, then it's a case of putting a sustainable plan together that, and I don't even really like the word plan, because it kind of has an end to it. It's like destination. It has that end there, which the challenge has always been that in the beginning, when I was doing what I'm doing, is right, we'd put a challenge together, or we'd put a program together, or we'd put a plan of action together, and everyone got that, or that goal got there, and they're like, is that it? Okay, thanks, I'm done. I can go back to what I was doing now. And then everything
I can do it all over again.
yeah. And then and the challenge is that you end up in a worse place, because you you now have reconfirmed what your underlying belief was, and that's made that stronger. So it makes it harder then to do it the next time. Or let's say it took 6 months to get there where you wanted to get to the first time, you might not even make it that 6 months because self-sabotage can kick in at an earlier stage. So example wise, it doesn't really matter what it is that the actual situation is for the person. Is
Let's
that we
pick
really,
one, just for fun.
so just for fun. Okay, so someone's looking to lose body fat, or they come in and say that they're looking to lose weight. So the first thing we do is change the mindset with the weight, because one aspect is that, let's say you weigh, you carry on with the same weight that you're at, and I say to you, right, do you mind me asking what is your body weight? Let's say your body weight is 100 pounds, for example. And I say to the person, they say, oh, I just don't like these bits that overhang. And then when I jump up and down, like everything carries on wobbling and moving for another 5 minutes afterwards. And I don't want that to happen anymore. So I say, so their mindset is that they need to lose weight. Okay. So what I do is then say to them, okay, so if you stayed exactly the same weight, but let's say you were 2 suit sizes or 2 dress sizes smaller, would you still be okay with that? And they're like, well, yeah. So your mindset is already on the wrong part. And so it's not the weight that's the problem. It's the bits that are hanging over the top of the clothes that you're not happy with. And so once we change that bit and we remove the, let's say, the environment side of it is the scales, they're going to the bathroom or they're going to wherever they put the scales, and they're standing on them every day or every time they go into the toilet and they use the toilet, then they're jumping on the scales and they're like, oh my God, I'm heavier than what I was this morning. And like, because your weight fluctuates over the day, so you're always going to be lighter in the morning. So they're like, then they're beating themselves up in the head with it as well. So this is again having a negative effect on their mindset towards achieving their goals. So that ends up in like a downward spiral for them, thinking, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, or I'm not worth this where I want to be, so what's the point?
Yeah,
That
and
makes sense?
yes, and I was thinking, so I used to do this because I used to be overweight, but you get up on the scale and you see a number that's disappointing, but you look at yourself because you've been exercising and you look great, but then what do you do? Do I trust the number? And sometimes that number weighs more, pun intended, I guess,
Yeah.
than the actual image that we see, the reality of things. So,
Yes. And that in itself as well is a mindset side, because your perception of what you see is what is actually going on. It's not what you actually see, because you're not, what you see in the mirror and what your husband sees when he looks at you are completely different.
yep, I agree.
Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? And then this is it. And it's like I put a post up the other day, is that the 10% of it is, sorry, 10% is what happens in life, and 90% is how we respond or react or perceive it.
Yep.
And that's exactly the same. You stand on the scales and we get that mass level of disappointment because we had this crazy expectation of what it should be to stand on those scales. So one part that I go through as well with people is to help change their expectations or remove them, to then kind of start to increase their standards that they have within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know that no matter what it is, if you're expecting your husband to do something and he doesn't do it, man, is he in the doghouse now. But he didn't know what he was supposed to do, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a lack of communication, maybe.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. But it's always nice that just having that level of understanding that if I'm or awareness, let's say, if I'm expecting to be losing 10 pounds in the first week and I only lose 2, then it's like a mass disappointment, rather than focusing on that small win, which is evidence that what I'm doing is working. Yes, it's only 2 pounds, but yes, it's 2 pounds. That's a lot.
Yes, but look at what I did. during the week. I exercised every day. I've been eating very well and I feel great. I've got lots of energy. So these are also types of evidence, right?
Exactly. Yep. Your energies, and that's where we work on during our program as well, is where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we look at all of the wins, no matter how small they are. It's all evidence. And like you said, that you didn't realize or fully aware that you've got more energy through, but kind of towards the end of the week. Like, how many times do you actually make a better choice on what you was going to eat, rather than just going for what you would normally go for, like the quick sugary kind of fixes, the processed stuff that really doesn't kind of help you long term, but gives you that quick little boost of energy, and then you have that drop afterwards.
What do you think about this when we make a decision related to mindset and everything? Do you think that we're constantly being reminded, if we're aware of things? If, let's say, I were to work with a coach and the coach would tell me, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, or try this, try that. And whenever the craving hits, for instance, you could do that. And do you think that those thoughts and those reminders come to our mind, and that's what stops people to reach out for those sugary treats, something like that? Or is it something else that changes?
If I've understood right, there, I would say it's one there. The coach should have worked with them on the environment around them, the influences that are around them as well, because we're creatures of habit, and we are who we are because of a habitual process that has happened. And when someone turns around and says to you, yes, logically we know that a can of Coke and a Mars bar, for example, isn't the best choice when you could have, let's say, like a juice apple and ginger that will give you the same level of kind of energy fix that would, and is much better for you as well, and you'll get a lot more out of it. But if that's normally what your go-to is, and that is around you most of the time, then you'll unconsciously go to that without even realizing it. And unless the coach is standing next to you with a whip, kind of, and every time you move towards the Coke and the Pepsi, then you get cracked, then you start to have an association of pain moving towards that bad stuff, rather than he gives you a high five, let's say, when you go to the apple and ginger. so you can start to create a different association then. But overall, I think it's actually really difficult to consciously make these changes, and this is where willpower kicks in to begin with, or motivation is there to begin with, but it's not sustainable because it doesn't work. There's too many influences in our environment around us that would have to change for you to be able to sustain this original decision of making a better food choice or a better exercise choice.
Yeah, because if out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If your fridge is full of rubbish food, and every time you go to the kitchen, you open the fridge and look in it, there's so much energy coming out of there, bad influence energy coming out of that fridge. You're going to at some point break and go for it. Or if you're, I did a post the other day on emotional eating, and if your routine is that you get to a certain point in the day, let's say kind of 4 o'clock, and that's your cup of tea time, and you'd normally have, say, a couple of biscuits to start with, but that ended up being half a pack of biscuits or a complete pack of biscuits. That again is a habitual process that we conditioned into our, kind of like Pavlov's dogs, in that sense, that the kettle clicks, the tea's made, the biscuits are out, and you don't even, before you know it, you've eaten the packet. You're like, what have I done to myself?
How would you recommend people start if they want to change their environment? Is it how is that linked to mindset, let's say?
Because of the influence it has, I would say. And if you're this comes down to the belief in yourself of and how you would move yourself forwards to get the results or the goals or that you're looking to have, let's say, rather than it just being a lovely idea. When we actually truly want it, there has to be an overwhelming and compelling why for us to be able to truly uh, move in the direction and push the energy in the direction of what we want to achieve. And if our environment doesn't fit in with what our goal is or what we want to achieve for ourselves, for our health and our well-being, then unfortunately the environment has a much stronger influence over you than anything else. It will crush your willpower in a matter of weeks. Like, that will be kind of obliterated, because it's like if you're a self-confessed alcoholic and you decide, right, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to get myself off of it, and you still go down to the pub or the bar and meet your friends and they all drink, it's going to be impossible for you to be able to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of one, it's the same if you're a raging chocoholic, then having your cupboard full of chocolate would be impossible for you to be able to stop. So first we'd need
Yeah.
to change the environment, because of that influence has on us.
Yep. But can you give us a tip, a practical tip related to all this? How do you refrain yourself from buying chocolate or from being around it or from thinking about it?
A
Just one
key tip,
practical tip.
one practical tip on that one: don't go shopping when you're hungry. Never. Always have something really healthy to eat before you go food shopping, and then you won't buy the stuff. And you start to, another tip would be to start to create a negative association or a passive aggressive association towards the stuff that you want to get rid of. And you can't stop something, you have to replace it. In my understanding and my experience so far is that if we try and just stop eating chocolate or stop eating pizza or stop eating fast foods, then it's a matter of time, because willpower is what is actually kicked in at the beginning. So we need to change that so that we need to change. Sorry, we need to replace what that is. So years and years and years ago, before I got into any of this, I used to spend a lot of time working in France at antique fairs, and we used to collect the antiques that people used to buy. And there was a client that we had way back then, and he used to drink like can after can after can of Diet Coke. And I turned around and said to him, like, that's incredibly bad for you, right? And his reply back to me was, it's much better than the alcohol that I was drinking before. So sometimes we've got to look at what is the less of the two evils as well. So I'm not being so hard on himself. So he was drinking like maybe 10 or more cans of Diet Coke, but before I didn't know him, from what he said to me, he was drinking that volume of alcohol. So here's a much better alternative, although it's not a great thing to be doing, is a better alternative.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't go shopping when you're hungry, and replace it. Don't stop it. Yeah. Find something to replace it with.
I like it, because I always think that whenever we have a habit, a bad one, a good one, we always get pleasure out of it. We have kind of satisfaction, pleasure. And whenever we remove it, we remove the pleasure. So that creates a void in the gap. So
and then scarcity kicks in.
Yep.
And they're like, I've got to have it. You have that diamond effect where it's like so precious and it's not around, and then it doesn't matter. Everything you see from that point onwards is chocolate and really rubbish food, because you've got, like you said, that you've taken it away. It creates that void.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this and for sharing your
No problem.
ideas. They were super helpful. If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Facebook is where I'm at most of the time. I am in the process of setting myself up on LinkedIn as well, but otherwise just search me up, Lee Jacobs, on Facebook, where I have my group, or I'm in your both your groups as well. So if they need to ask me a question, just tag me in the group, so I'm more than happy to answer and help people out.
Thank you
Thank you for
so
having
much. Do you have any parting words that you'd like to share?
me. No, enjoy life. Don't beat yourself up. You're only here once, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Or for
Yeah,
the time anyway.
totally. Thank you so much for listening. And
No
until
problem.
next time, have fun. Thank you.
Thank you.